Show here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Good morning and welcome in, everybody. My name is Munoz, aka Thunder. Sorry I've missed you the last week or so, but I am back. I am ready, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be joined, as always, by the hosts of the Connect Show, Tracy and Kim. Tracy, good morning.
Oh my God, Mitch, your energy is unbelievable today. You made me jump as soon as you started talking.
I need a nap now. That was all I had. That was everything. I'm done.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I need
I don't
now.
believe it.
Is there a couch somewhere? Can I take a nap?
We have chairs. You can kind of put them together, make
Perfect.
a couch. There's probably one downstairs.
And I'm spent. Done. That's all I got.
Welcome, everybody, to the Connect Show. My name is Tracy Champagne, and today is episode number 31 of season number 3. I am the owner of Small Business Milwaukee, where we do digital marketing. So that means website, social, blog writing, newsletter writing, all those kinds of different things.
That's a lot of
marketing,
stuff.
all the things.
That's fun.
Well, one just bleeds into the other, into the other, into the other. It all overlaps.
And then when you do all those things well, you get asked to be like the head of a chamber and stuff like that.
Well, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
And today is the second day of May. It doesn't feel like May, but it's coming. I know
More
it's
than
coming.
yesterday.
More than yesterday.
That's for sure. But it doesn't. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how, if you guys see all the TikTok memes about like Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, it's going to be May. And it's like, I'm still waiting for it to be May.
Look at my
Yeah.
Facebook. I do it every April
Do you?
30th and every May 1st.
Yeah.
Every time.
It's going to be May.
Every time. I can't miss a year.
I love it.
And today we're talking all about owning your confidence and working with our senior generation. And today joining me is Miss Kim Knock.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Like Tracy said, I am Kim Knock. I have a business opportunities knocking. I do social media management, event planning, crazy stuff. I'm trying to narrow that down so I can get back and better to describing what I'm
Would
doing.
you say you're trying to niche?
Yes, niche.
Yeah.
I got to niche it down because
Okay.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. So if I can't do it, I am in the mindset that if I can't do it, I'm going to hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
So
Or you
yeah.
know somebody who can.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you collaborate.
Exactly. Not compete.
That's right.
I see what you did there. Today we have two great guests, Consuela Munoz and Greg Petrowski. Petrowski. Sorry, I did not practice that ahead of time. See, we're live.
Yeah.
And here we go.
There you
You
go.
did, though. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were in the neighborhood.
I had
I'm
his
sure
first
he's heard his
name.
last name like 70 billion different ways.
We went through it 100 times.
Yeah.
It's Greg. It's Kim. It's Tracy. It's Greg. It's Kim. It's Tracy. It's But did I bother with the last name? Nope. Nope. Didn't do it.
You were busy pink drinking.
Yeah. Sponsored by no one yet. Bring it on.
That's right. We'll take it.
It did not snow yesterday. Thank you. And I
No.
know you wanted it.
I did want it to
It
snow
did snow in
yesterday.
the North Woods. We got a foot up there.
I was going to say, it definitely snowed up north.
Yeah.
A foot, though?
A foot.
That's a lot.
on
I
May
remember
1st.
years ago on May 1st, for those of you who are Lakeshore Chinook fans, which is a wood bat baseball team up in Mequon, I remember they did their groundbreaking on May 1st. And I was on the radio at the time, and we were doing a big radio show, and it was outside. We had tents. We had and it snowed.
Figures.
And I remember all I was tasked into it because I was on the afternoon show and the morning show was on. I just went to the McDonald's and I bought, again, 70 billion hot chocolates for
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
because it snowed on May. It snows on May 1st sometimes in Wisconsin. For those of you not watching in Wisconsin who don't understand what our weather's like, we invite you in because it is a beautiful thing. And we embrace it here in Wisconsin. No one complains in April when it snows. Everybody embraces it. Everybody loves it. We are ready for spring and summer, though. All right,
Nobody
that was a total lie. Everybody complains. Everybody, when it snows in April, everybody acts like it's the first April ever that it snowed.
I
It
complain in March.
snows every April.
I complain in March
You do.
because I'm just over it.
I know, but you
But
live
we
here.
have the
Own
most
it.
beautiful summers
Like today, we're
here.
going to learn about owning your confidence.
Yes.
You need to own your
I'm
weather
confident.
as well.
I'm confident that I don't love snow, but I do love our summers. Are
Fair.
fabulous.
They're the
in
best.
Wisconsin. So
They're the
anyways,
best because it snows in April.
right?
There you go.
And we're like,
You
oh
gotta
my God,
appreciate it.
it's summer. What am I going to do outside? I'm going to be outside every day doing
Mhm.
something. Get me out of the house. I've been
Exactly.
locked in the house for 8 months.
Yep.
I got 2 months to give her.
Yes, you do.
Let's go.
mhm. And as always, we love to start our show by thanking our fantastic partners. The Connect Show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on all your social media is brought to you by Connect Media Live, helping businesses reach the audiences through social media, video, and web development. So basically that means if you're interested in a show like this for your business, maybe you want to have a podcast or once a month you want to interview somebody and put it on your website and your social media, we can help you with that. And
True story.
visit connectmedia.live for more information.
We always Have to thank our hosting sponsor, Expansive Workspace. There are couches down there for you to nap if you really need to. Very comfy chairs all over. Absolutely wonderful.
And I have the
restaurants.
app now, so I can get in the front door.
See,
it's amazing.
Wonderful restaurants to accommodate your needs. A Whole Foods.
A Whole Food. I was going to say
a
Meyer across the street. I mean, we got stuff.
I will name drop here. JT Fox came to Wisconsin. I had to pick him up from the airport in Chicago, and we pulled into this lot, and he said, "Oh, this must be a nice area. There's a Whole Foods here."
Yeah.
So, when billionaires recognize that Whole Foods is in the house, Expansive is the place to go. So I love it. We're in the Tosa location. There's downtown Milwaukee. There's Madison. Those are the locations I know of in Wisconsin, and then 42 other locations nationwide. And I visited a few, and they're all pretty amazing.
Very cool.
If you're interested, go to expansive.com.
And we're very thankful that you have come to watch The Connect Show. We think connecting is a huge key to building small businesses, which is why it's called The Connect Show. So please tell your friends all about our show. And if you have a topic that you think we should be discussing, please email us at ideas@theconnectshow.com. I did that so well.
That all the time. No, it's great. But you get it right every single time now. And we have to thank our guests last week, Ryan Cohn and Brandon Frisch. We talked about software, AI, huge topic of conversation, automation, computer, stuff like that. We had a really long conversation at my networking meeting yesterday morning. Like
I
it
heard
is
about it
just
at my networking meeting last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
So it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So either embrace it or.
What if I lack the confidence to embrace it? Oh wait, Consuela.
We have people
we'll
here to help with
Consuela's
that.
going to help me use
That was a good segue there.
Thank you.
Yes, we have people here to help with that. It's up to you, Mitch.
Oh, it's up to me?
It's up to
Yeah,
you.
I thought you did that on purpose.
Oh, yeah. So we are super excited for Consuela Munoz and Greg Petrowski, who are here today. Consuela owns her confidence. She has the website ownyourconfidence.com. One of the things that I love that she has is she has created an impact board. And for those of us who, whatever stage you're in building your business, or you're working for the man, or wherever you are, to create an impact board and to figure out where you are and what your path looks like. And we're going to be talking a lot today, before she comes on and when she's on, about how we build that confidence, how we get there. She was at SC Johnson for about 15 years, I think. So I'm interested to hear how that corporate experience led her to where she is today. She's been a Girl Scout leader. And one of the things I love about her website is all websites have an About Me page. She has an About You page. So if you go to her website, you find out about yourself and you enter in information, and then you can set up ways to connect with Consuela, which I thought was really creative.
That's very
So excited to hear about that as well. Greg Petrowski is here as well. He's got a past as a finance guy. He went to UWM, but he has created a senior living model that I'm really excited to learn about. Some of the pictures on social, if you look at August 2022, it was like a blank slate of land. And now it's just amazing facility in Greendale, right? Greenfield. We actually just talked about that too. It's in Greenfield.
It's a lot of greens.
Yes. And the way that we are taking care of and connecting with our senior generations. And for so many of us in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s age group who are now taking care of our parents and wanting to do what's best for them. I'm really excited to hear about that. Greg's into fitness. He's into travel. And so I'm excited to hear what he's going to bring to the show as well.
I was just at his facility a couple weeks ago, and you guys, it's really modern. There's a bar in there.
Oh, hey.
You're not sitting there just dying away. You're having a party probably.
Need cocktails once in a
And
while.
as part of my social media stalking, because obviously I've done some social media stalking of both of you, that's how I come up with nuggets. On Greg's Facebook page, there's a picture of, it's got to be a cabin, like a camp cabin with a heart with him and his wife's name. That I don't know if you guys were teenagers when you guys were counselors together at a camp, or I got to hear more of that story, because there's because your names are clearly in some sort of cabin. And so you'll have to tell that story real quickly when you come on the show as well.
Cute.
Nice.
Yeah. So so excited, super excited for Consuela and Greg to share their stories and their journeys with us. So excited for my nap. I mean, I can't even tell you.
You do sound
After
like
the show.
you
After
do
the
sound
show,
like you're
yes.
lowering down a little
Yeah.
bit. You're
Well, I'm trying to be, more professional,
Trying to
more like in the vibe. No,
Nah,
forget it.
No.
All right, forget it. Consuela, Greg, we cannot wait for you guys to be on the
There
show
we
today.
go. There we go.
So excited.
Yes.
And I love that you guys, different backgrounds, doing different things professionally today. But, our question of the day, when we get into it, is all going to be about confidence and how you build your own confidence. And Consuela, I know that's what you do professionally, but Greg, there takes a certain confidence to go from like, well, I'm a CPA and a finance guy and this, and all of a sudden I'm going to open this senior living facility. And this is my calling. This is and I want to hear that confidence journey for you as well to get to that point. And hopefully the two of you have a little bit of it bottled and could give me a shot because I need professionally, like obviously in a camera, I do great, but like we can all use a little shot of confidence now and then.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. So remember, everyone, the show is better when it's interactive. So if you're out there and you see the comments please add your comments in the chat. So on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, just put your comments in the chat. We will see them and we will respond to them. So if you have any questions for the guests, please ask away. And if you'd like to get more expert advice and help your business grow, connect with new people and add to your network, join our mailing list so you get our newsletters as well. We need to add that in there. Join our mailing list.
Ooh, join our mailing list. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will, yeah.
I also like to see where people are commenting, where they're coming from. So
like
throw it in the chat where you're coming from. Yeah, so we can see it.
Where are you coming from?
Yeah, because we get nationwide, sometimes worldwide viewers.
Absolutely.
So I love to know it. And we are all volunteers here at the Connect Show. If you like what you see or have any suggestions, connections, or ideas, email us at ideas@theconnectshow.com. We'd love to have you part of our volunteer team. Man behind the scenes, do we have anything today? Or are we going to get
not yet.
We're going to get a not this
we
time.
Got like
not this time.
No. Okay.
So we are off to our quote of the day. Ooh, I can totally pronounce this person's name. Our quote of the day.
I would certainly hope so.
Sometimes, they can be a little shaky.
I know, for sure. This one isn't.
The quote is, "Lost time is never found again," by Benjamin Franklin. And that is so true.
Yeah. And when I was looking this one up, I kind of saw it two different ways. One is don't wait to take action.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a passion, if you know what you want to do, go ahead and take that action right now. But also don't sit around thinking about time that you lost in the past because you're not getting that time
You're wasting
back.
more time.
So, right. So stop wasting that time, whether it's regret or whether it's just, it's fine to ruminate. It's fine to think about, but then use it as motivation moving into the future. Go do the future.
I do have to say, though, I do not think that anything that you've done previously in your life that you've spent time on is lost time, though, because I think that everything is an experience that leads you to where you're getting to today.
I like that positive mindset. I'm not sure I share it.
You should just let it mellow a little bit. It'll sink in.
I need to. Okay.
I see both sides because I'm kind of with Mitch. Like, there are definitely things that I've done that are time wasters, time suckers, and I could have done something completely else. But also, I don't want to sit and dwell on it, kind of with what you said. So you guys, I feel both of you guys on that, but you really have to own your time. You can't let the time own you because you can't make another hour up. Right. There's 24 hours in the day, and that's all there is.
Yeah, I feel like we talk about it every day, like getting stuck down the TikTok rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yep. But I will even say that getting stuck down the TikTok rabbit hole,
maybe
it's one of those videos that motivates us to go do something else.
Yes.
Because there really are creators who are doing great things. And it's like, oh wait, if I hadn't taken this time out and been kind to myself and taken this time, I wouldn't have thought of to do this. So there is that part of it as well.
That's true.
Manage the amount of time that you're doing it, maybe. There's so many different thoughts behind that.
So let's get this party started. Today's question of the day is, how do you make a decision? What is your process and what confidence is needed to get there? Yikes.
Yeah. Decision making. It's not always easy.
No.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's hard. And I also want to throw in, because it's one of the questions of the day, is like when you're making a big decision, Yeah, you do all your due diligence. You do your pros and cons, and you do your budget, and you do this and you do that. But there's still like that internal confidence to actually make the decision
Yes.
that is necessary with so many of these bigger decisions that we make in life. And does that confidence come from? Oh, I know I did the research and I'm ready to make that decision, or is it more of a, this is my gut, this feels right, and so I'm making a decision? Or do you sit around like me for like 2 months and think about making a decision, and you're like, I'm not sure if I should make this decision or not?
You have no idea how much this question resonates with me today.
Oh.
Huge decisions, and the confidence is definitely lacking. And it's more on the consequences of that decision, on what could go wrong. It's hard to focus on what can go right, because does the what can go wrong outweigh the what can go right? Mm-hmm. And so to make a huge decision,
and of course, in our brains, oftentimes it does.
You're going to go to the
that's
negative.
Not reality, but that's what's in our brain.
And I try to focus on the positive, but there are times when you have to say, okay, could the consequences from these decisions be life-altering in any way, shape, or form, good, bad, or ugly? I don't know. But yeah, it's that, wow, the confidence is 100% a big key in there. Are you confident in what the results will be in that decision?
We had a think tank last night, and our event was about perception. So we did a bunch of quotes.
Yeah.
There was a quote from the 4-Hour Work Week, and I forget what his name is. The 4-day work.
Yeah.
The 4-day work. It might have been the 4-hour day.
Oh, was it?
4-hour day.
4-hour work week.
4-hour
work week. Okay.
Like, I forget his name.
Tim Ferriss.
Yes, Tim Ferriss. So he had a quote in there, and we were talking about the quote. I know, because he must read a lot. The quote was something about, forget about the pros and the cons, forget about the weighing everything out. Just go ahead and do it, because anything you do, you're just going to learn along the way the different ways that you should be doing it. And otherwise you waste time, 2 months, to try to decide. Yeah.
What if it's not just about you?
I'm just saying the quote. That's
the thing, because sometimes your decision
you make is going to affect other people.
It's always going to affect other people.
I think you do need to, weigh that.
Yes.
But also you need to be, if you can come to that decision in your brain that this is the path I need to take, or this is the direction I need to go in. Yes, it's going to affect other people. That's part of managing that decision, but you still got to move forward.
This is a loaded question.
Yeah.
Oh, Emily is in Dallas. She calls it Green Alice. I like it. Like it instead of West Dallas. We've got Greenfield, Greendale.
I thought it was Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm excited for our guest to answer the confidence and the decision-making process question.
Consuela will set us straight.
She will.
Yeah,
she will.
I'm excited for that.
Do we have any, John, will let us know if we have any comments. John, do we have any comments in the comment section regarding our stuff? We have Lily, who is excited to hear from Consuela. Thank you, Lily. It looks like we're going through. We got another hi, Consuela, from Emily. Consuela, you are kind of our little bit of our.
And that's,
Emily says she met you last week.
Oh, there we go.
And Emily's with Rely Local, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Thanks for chiming in. I love it.
All right. Well, I think at that we are ready to move on to our first guest. I love Consuela. I met her in person last week, Emily said.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So, John, are we ready for a video, or are you going to get up there and start talking? Picnic.
Picnic it is. Where do we have so many things happening? There we go. All right. We had a little extra microphone going on. It's camera number 1. Always has a funny one. So thank you very much for joining us on the Connect Show. And we're having a picnic. It's June 20th. It is the picnic for solopreneurs. So if you own a company, but you don't have that big company feel where you can't have a huge company picnic, this is the place for you. We are going to have food trucks, barbecued butts, ice balls, and Jenga. So there's going to be all kinds of fun and excitement. And it's always warm on June 20th. It's a true story. It's always at least 84 degrees and sunny. So it's the perfect day to get out there, meet new friends, have some great food, and enjoy the expansive workplace here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. And with that, we're going to send it back to Kim and Tracy.
I'm so excited you said ice balls. I can't even believe it because he makes some great butt. And I've been dabbling in this ice ball thing. You know, you can put mint and lime in these ice balls and then make a mojito with it.
I'm really curious
so
after
fun.
last week, and I know we're totally off subject,
I know.
but how long did it take for the ice balls to melt?
Like hours.
Yeah.
It was great. I thought I poured in 2 cups of water and it just kept flavoring
going,
my
huh?
water. So I'm making some ice balls for the picnic. You guys can all explore the adventure of these ice balls.
All right. Sounds good.
But welcome Consuela to the show.
Welcome, Consuela.
Consuela is a speaker, a focus strengths coach, founder of the CEO Way and Impact Makers Playground. She's the author of H.E.R. story, her story. The goals, the day she stopped, and Voices of Women. For more than 12 years, she has worked with leaders, corporate teams, and business owners to ignite powerful leaders, generating unexpected results.
As a global strength leader, Consuela specializes in unleashing and maximizing human potential based on greatness and unique potential in each person. Today, she works with entrepreneurs to defeat shiny object syndrome by increasing focus through the Get It Into Gear program. Shiny objects, where is your crown today?
I did not bring my crown. I should have brought my crown. I didn't bring any squirrels with me either. But
Well,
What about
welcome
some
to the show,
chickens?
even without your crown.
You could have brought some chickens.
I couldn't catch them. My chickens, you guys, this morning I got to get ready and come to this amazing show. My chickens decided today would be a good day to break free. And so I was running around the yard chasing my chickens this morning instead.
Oh, you are free range as far as it goes.
Exactly.
Well, glad you can make it to the show and you're not out chasing. I hope your chickens will still be there when you get back.
Hopefully they will. We do have an eagle in the area now, so
no.
hopefully they will be there.
Well,
Hopefully they band together.
So how did you make this decision to come to the show and not get your chickens? Because the question is, how do you make decisions?
Well, obviously, I want to be on this show. I love my chickens, but I know they know how to take care of themselves. So I'm like, I'm going for the show.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what the confidence that people need to finally make decisions.
So confidence, we've been throwing the word around quite a bit today, right? Confidence. And you do need confidence in yourself to make decisions. So I talk about shiny object syndrome, and entrepreneurs are just bombarded with like all the things we could do, that we should do. And how do we know which ones? How do we know what decision to make? I should do this thing. I should do that thing. And when you have the confidence in yourself, your abilities, your strengths, and what you know you want to achieve, the goals that you've set for yourself, it makes it easy to say yes to this and no to that. Because when you're lacking that confidence, you're going to say yes to all these things, and then you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get burnout, and you're going to pull back, and there goes your forward momentum.
Been there.
Yeah. I can't imagine there's any entrepreneur that at some point hasn't experienced shiny object syndrome, right? This is part of the journey. And so the more you develop your confidence as an entrepreneur, the easier it is to deal with those things. I read a statistic that 9 out of 10 small business owners say they've suffered from shiny object syndrome. And for me, I'm like, really? 9 out of 10. I think that 10th is lying. I think he's lying.
I agree.
Right? Like,
I
because
agree.
it's
10 out of
kind
10.
of a thing that every person has. So that one person, like, I feel like they're
I
given
mean,
to
you
us.
had to have the best damn business plan set in place, and you're like, nope, I'm not deviating from any of that. Nope. I mean, you have to be one strong person to say you've never done it. And while you're writing that business plan, you didn't see the shiny object. You didn't see
Did
it.
this maybe a
Yeah.
little this, a little this.
I think you're
I
right.
think, I mean, especially for entrepreneurs, it's something about the way our minds work as an entrepreneur, right? We have all these ideas just constantly going boom, 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 like we're idea generating machines. And then, face it, y'all, we have a touch of impulsiveness and we're willing to take risks. If if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to take risks. And so because those things are combined, it's really easy for us to say, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this, add this thing in. and then we can, and it makes us amazing, but also can get us into trouble if we don't control it. I know you guys brought up, that I had worked in corporate for a little while, and a lot of the folks that I talked to had that going on, right? And it was very structured. And now they're entrepreneurs and they're in charge of themselves, and they want to reject all that structure. No, I don't want any structure. I don't want to set these goals. I don't want to, I'm going to do all the things and you start out really pumped up and you have all this energy and you do all these things, and then your energy goes down, but you still have all these things going.
Yeah.
That's a danger zone.
Absolutely. So you brought up squirrels very briefly. Our audience might not know what the squirrel thing is. So how do you figure out what kind of squirrel you are? And then after we talk about that, what are the 4 key techniques to managing that shiny object syndrome, the chasing that we talked about?
Yeah. So
The squirrel is the thing that chases
story.
the shiny objects.
Quick story.
Okay.
Although I'm known to make a short story long, I will try to keep it
We
quick.
got plenty of time.
So, I live out in the boonies, right, with my chickens, and we've lived there for like 17 years. And one day I'm standing there, I'm drinking, my one latte I allow myself a day, right? And a squirrel runs across our patio. I'm like, no way, because you guys, we were in the middle of a sod field. And so the nearest forest is like 20 squirrel minutes away. So for him to make it here, how did he get, it's not very safe. We've got foxes and weasels and hawks and stuff. So here's the squirrel, and I'm watching the squirrel, and we have 2 little trees. So not a lot of protection, but they did drop some nuts on the patio. So of course he's running in for these nuts, right? And then I see him next couple of days. I see him and he's hanging out, and I see him come running back from the neighbor to the north yard. And he's got like his mouth full of these nuts. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this crazy squirrel. He's like coming in, and I see him start burying him in the yard. I'm like, oh my gosh. So a week or so after that, I see this squirrel, and he is laying on our patio, just like completely pooped, right? He's just laying there all stretched out and he's exhausted. And I'm like, look at what you did, you crazy squirrel, right? But then I see him and his ears start picking up, and he's looking over towards where the forest is. And you can see he has like a panic attack. He's like, and he's like, where are my nuts? Where are my nuts? He starts running around the yard. It's like, where are my nuts? And he's finding his nuts, right? And I'm standing there and I'm like, oh my gosh. We're not chasing squirrels. We are the squirrels, right? Like that's everything entrepreneurs can end up doing. Like, oh no, I got to go across the thing because those nuts are better than my nuts. And we have so many nuts that we've buried that we don't even know where they are. And we're constantly running. And even though we're exhausted and we're worn out, we get some FOMO because somebody else just published a book or did something, and bam, we got to go get back in it again, even though we don't even know what we're doing and we're running around. And that's us. So we're squirrels.
I
Now-
feel like such a squirrel right now.
Right.
No. Well, I thought where the squirrel moment was going to go was the Disney movie where squirrel, that's where I thought it was going.
And
but
so
I was
many
off.
people, right? The dog, he's like squirrel, like it's become synonymous with I'm distracted.
Yes.
Like, right. That is the
Yes.
thing. And so we think we're chasing squirrels, but we are the squirrels.
squirrels.
We are so distracted. And now I'm a strengths coach as well. And so I have this quiz that's based loosely on strengths, but more specifically on what kind of distractions are most likely going to tempt you and help you figure out what those are so you can face them head on. Because that's what we need to do if we're going to get past that, if we're going to make a difference and not be stuck in that cycle of chasing the shiny things.
Sounds like work.
A lot of work.
Work? What sounds like work?
Stopping yourself from doing all the shiny things. Work is work.
It is work, right?
But it's more work if you're buried and
Training.
you can't get out of it.
Training and habit building too, maybe.
Well, so you guys were talking about time earlier, right? And so a lot of people are like, oh, you deal with time management. I'm like, ew, I don't know if I should be in charge of that because I have shiny object syndrome. But the thing we know, what you guys were saying, you can't manage time, y'all. That's a myth. You cannot manage time. Time is time. There's the same amount of time for you and everyone else. We have the same amount of time as, any other person that's achieved amazing things. So while we're trying to manage time, we need to manage is our distractions. They get in our way. When you talk about, it's a lot of work. What if you were able to work less towards that 4-hour work week and accomplish more.
Mhm.
That's what we all want.
Absolutely.
And so, and if you really bring up your focus, because that's what we need. And focus is not high for me in the strengths. I've got it at like 33 out of 34. So it's not a thing. So how do I figure out how, with the strengths I do have, I'm going to bring that focus? So there are ways to do that. And so setting that goal is so important, y'all, to being able to focus and make those decisions on what to do and not to do. But managing the distractions. So knowing, let's say, knowing you're gonna want to get training after training, right? That's something that someone will do. Or knowing that you're gonna buy all the domain names, or that you want to get certified, or you're like, I'm gonna go to all these networking events, but you're not gonna do the follow-up, right? Knowing which thing is most likely gonna tempt you can help you figure out what things to watch for that can get you into trouble, right?
Yeah.
So that's managing distractions. Now, about work though, if you know what you want to achieve and you decide these are the actions I need to take to achieve that, if you do nothing else but those actions, you can achieve it. And so all that other stuff kind of falls away. Think about if you ever worked and you're getting to like, they're starting to run the Thanksgiving commercials, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, it's almost the end of the year. And I said I was going to do this thing and I didn't do it. And you're like, oh my God, I got to do this thing. And you're like, okay, I need to focus. And you focus and you achieve your goal by the end of the year. That happens, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that happens.
Yeah.
Right? Or think about somebody was talking about going on vacation, right? And so I'm going on vacation, so I'm only going to work a half day on Friday. So I got all these things to get done. And amazingly, I can get the same work done in that half day that I would have taken a whole day if I didn't have vacation. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes?
True.
Yes, that happens. So if we can have that focus at the end of the year, or when we know we're going to get to go do this vacation, how can we bring that focus into every day, every week, every month? And that is what we work on, and getting the confidence to know, I'm going to do this, I'm not doing that, because this is what my goal is. This is the amazing thing I'm going to achieve. And then all those other things don't matter, because you're going to focus on those. And that limits the work you have to do, giving you more time to connect with people that you haven't connected with, more time to develop those relationships, but be able to take a vacation once every 12 weeks, right?
It seems like it would almost naturally, if you really drive down your focus, the distractions will naturally just kind of fall off to the wayside a little bit, right? Like
They should,
Right.
They could, but honestly, they're gonna come.
of course,
They're gonna
of
pop
course.
up. You don't stop wanting to learn. You don't stop wanting to do whatever that thing is that distracts you. But you have to see it and be like, no, not right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know Mitch had brought up the impact board, one of my babies, right? One of my little things that I created, but really that is, and to talk about the 4 keys, right? So I say, get into gear, goals, evaluate every idea, accountability, and rewards. And that E, evaluate every idea, because those distractions are going to keep popping up.
Yep.
And this impact board, I know y'all have heard of a vision board, right? But this is like that next step. This is, okay, I got this vision. I know what I want. How am I going to take action? How am I going to make that impact that I want? And on this impact board, we decide everything that comes in front of us, like we're going to do this thing or that thing. Is it going to help me with my goal right now? If yes, it's an action. If it's something amazing and it's something you really want to do, but it's not going to help you right now, that's a distraction. And we're not going to consider that until the next cycle for us.
Yeah,
We're
you
not
have to,
going to look at it.
Analyze all of your desires and wants and get into a habit of that, because many people just aren't even paying attention.
Well, and we have like a really quick process, because that can be the thing. He was talking about like, well, I'm going to think about this for 2 months. Well, 2 months, that's a long time to be thinking about something, right? So if you get to the point where you can like, okay, I think I'm going to do this thing. You're like, wait a second. You just stop and pause. You're like, let me ask these 5 quick questions. No, that's too big. That's going to cost too much. That's going to be too many resources. That's a distraction. I can look at that in the next 12-week cycle. I'm not doing it right now. And then you do get in the cycle, and it saves you guys so much money, time, energy. If you're like, wait, no, not for now. And then you evaluate it. Does it still seem amazing in a week or a month or the next 12 weeks,
That's what I
right?
do when I'm looking at shoes in the store. So how do you handle accountability different than the traditional way?
So accountability. So it's kind of a buzzword. It's also a word that people are like, ew, right? Like, I don't want.
Yeah, there's
Everybody-
coaches
Ugh.
yeah.
Everybody has been in an accountability situation where it wasn't any fun, right? You've been in, you go to the meeting and it becomes this massive excuse fest. We're like, well, I didn't get done what I was gonna do. Nobody wants to go to that.
And then you don't want to go back.
And then no one shows up. And then the one
Yeah.
person's doing things like, where is everybody? Yeah, no. So accountability, it all goes back to the goals. We want to set our goals in a different way. And so we set those goals, not the SMART goals. They're not dumb goals either, but they're not SMART goals in that structured way. But we want to set those goals that they're so important to you that when you read them, you feel it like, oh, I want this. This is what I want. It's so important to you that you own that. We own our confidence. We own our goals. And so accountability is ownership. If you own that goal, if that's something that's so important to you that nothing else matters, that's accountability. And then commitment is the other piece of that, because if you own that goal and you say, I have to take actions 1, 2, and 3, when you commit to those actions, because if you do actions 1, 2, and 3, you will achieve your goal, that's accountability. And so there's no, I'm going to hold you accountable. You hold yourself accountable because this is so important. A lot of times, we don't achieve our goals. Did you know there's something like 8% of people achieve the goals they set?
Wow.
8%. That's,
Wow.
I want to be a part of that elite 8. I don't know about you guys. I hope you
For
do, right?
sure.
Boy, I wish that was a higher number.
Right. So we want to improve that. So to be a part of that, again, you need to have that commitment and that accountability. But I'm not going to hold you accountable as much as you are going to hold yourself accountable, because you want it more than anything else that pops up at you.
Right. And all you can do is when you say, you didn't do the thing last week, how does that make you feel?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
it's not putting it on anybody else then. It's just putting it back on yourself. It's not, you didn't have to do it for somebody else.
So when you say you didn't do that thing, that's the other piece of this. If you say, I commit to actions 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to do this every week. I'm doing this daily. I'm doing this action, right? When you get to the weekly review, we don't look at your results. We look at your actions. How many actions did you complete? If you said you had these 12 actions that were very important for you to achieve your goals, how many of those 12 actions did you take? 6 of them? 7 of them? 2 of them? That you can control. You can't control the results, but you can control the actions you take every day. And when you look at, we look at time we operate in a 12-week year. So I've been saying 12 weeks, we operate in a 12-week year. And so that means, if there are 12 months in a year, there are 12 weeks in a 12-week year, which means that each week is a month, which means that each day is a week. And so it gives you a sense of urgency for your time. Think about if you only have 12 weeks to get this thing done, that's like, it's almost the end of the year. I got to get this thing done. You have 12 weeks to get this thing done. You're going to focus on one thing, one main goal and focus. And you've got these 12 weeks to get it done. And you're going to take these actions. And each week is a month. Like right now, it's week 5. So it's May. Oh, it's actually May. But I'm in week 5 already. So I'm almost halfway through my 12-week year.
Yeah.
And it gives you this urgency that you got to do your actions every day. You have every day. And so all of a sudden things that you would have drove you like, oh, I'm gonna take this training. It's 3-day training. You're like, 3 days. That's half my week.
That's going to put me back.
That's going to put me back. Is that really worth it for my week? Am I still going to get my actions that I need for this week done? And if it is important, and it can be, okay, that gives me the other days to get all the actions I know I need to get done this week done. So they still fit in.
I think the process behind this is really interesting because we ran a mastermind with the Connect, and it was a lot about accountability and such. And people naturally started to fall off as they weren't completing their own goals that they set. We didn't set the goals for them. They were things they wanted to do. But if it were presented in a way as an action item more than, and some of the goals were simple and some people had them, I'm going to clean my house, or some people really had it business related. It was all over the place. We weren't there to judge them, but we were there to say, how far did you come with what you were doing? And I think if the terminology might have been a little bit different, I mean, they're still going to know they didn't come to that meeting because they didn't face their action or their goal or whatever. They made that choice not to come. But now they're facing embarrassment because now they just stopped coming. And they're not getting the quality out of having, even if they're accountability for themselves, they're still not completing the task at hand.
And so when we talk about actions, the other great thing about, did I do the action I said I was going to do? It takes the pressure off the results. If you have pressure about, I'm going to achieve this thing or not, it can make you a little closed in and not see all the opportunities and everything that's there. But if you're like, I said, I'm going to do this action, I did the action.
Right.
That's
and
it.
then that action is done and you can put that away and then you can focus on the next action. And then all of a sudden it starts to feel a little bit easier and a little bit easier.
And we watch that trend, right? If this week you did 2 actions and then the next week you did 4 actions, you feel accomplished because I'm doing more and more of the things and there's no pressure about the results. We know the results will happen as long as we keep taking these actions. And we go through a process to figure out your goal, making it strong, your actions, what are the actions that are actually, but we think about, if you think about melting away pounds, because everybody's thought about like that at some point, right? So if you think about all the actions you could take that could help you melt away the weight that you want, you're not going to be able to do all of them, but you're going to look at that list and be like, okay, so turning the commercial when, turning from the commercial if it's a fast food commercial, that's something that you could do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if that's the only thing you did, would that help you lose the weight?
Right. No,
Probably not. So that's not going to make the cut for our actions. So
Right.
you really go through all the actions. Now, if you think about business ones, there are other things too, like all the things you could do to get your new business that you want. So you look at that list and be like, oh, that's important. But if I did only that, it wouldn't achieve the thing. What is the thing I do that if I do only that and nothing else, I will get the result? And that's your actions that you prescribe for you for each week.
Wow, that is a perfect way to finalize our time with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I am ready to take my change and just change the way I'm thinking about things. Do you have an offer or event or anything you'd like to tell our audience today?
So I do have an event. It is next week, May 11th at 10 a.m. Central. And this is a goal setting for the goal averse.
Oh, I like it.
So you don't like
averse.
goals.
You don't like setting goals. Right now, your tummy is like, ooh, goal setting. But this is a workshop for you to figure out a way to get past that and not have super structure, but have that powerful feeling from your goals.
Is this an in-person or a virtual event?
This is a virtual event.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Hopefully we get some viewers to join that event with you. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a page on our website for Consuela, so you can connect with her and take that action. connectshow.com/Consuela Munoz. Thank you so much again
Thank
for
you
joining us.
guys
It was
for
a great
having me
time.
up here.
Coming on. It's great to see you. I don't know. Did I ever meet you in person yet?
I don't know.
I think the last time I talked
Known
to you,
her
you were
forever.
like jumping off a building or you were like going down the building.
I did jump down a building.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
We just got railroaded, y'all.
She did. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming
Thank
on.
you.
What's up next, John? What's up next?
Next, we're going to hear from our sponsor, which is Wild Calm. Wild Calm is a THC-free CBD that you can use for anxiety, to sleep better, or if you have to speak in front of a large crowd, there's nothing better than Wild Calm to help you calm down and reduce your anxiety, but you won't be psychoactive effects of any type of THC, and you won't be altered because you don't want to get in front of a whole bunch of people and be all goofy. So with that, we'll send it back to Kim and Tracy.
Thank you so much, John. Good old welcome. I love it. Welcome to the show, Greg. Thanks for joining us today. We are, I just lost everything. Sorry. Greg was a CPA with Arthur Andersen and worked in business development for Aurora Healthcare before founding and operating Applewood Senior Living. He then founded and managed Infinity Development in 2022. And in 2022, founded and became the managing member of Great Life Communities, with the first development being The Woods. I like the name of that. I like the name of that. Welcome to the show. We're going to refer back to the audience question. How do you make decisions? You made some big career changes. And how do you create the confidence in those decisions?
You bet. Well, obviously, having an accounting background, I realized early on that accounting really wasn't my future. And I actually read a book from Elmbrook Church called The Great Niche Hunt. And The Great Niche Hunt was a very short book, but it was about looking at your past to figure out your future. And you guys mentioned earlier in the show how one thing leads to another. And I realized that my special gift was working with seniors. I grew up taking care of my grandma. Well, she took care of me, but I also took care of her, but spent a lot of time with her at a very young age. And I realized that my niche to share was working with seniors, creating better lives, making people happier, creating experiences for them that are better. And that's really been my career for the last almost 30 years.
Wow. So a little bit more about your background and how did you get to where you are today? So you talked about the accounting, but you've been doing nursing homes for 30 years. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
You betcha. So, well, first, we don't like to use the word nursing home because it's a bad word.
Okay.
Even facility is a bad word. What I realized, so when we started Applewood, Applewood at the time was very cutting edge. It was something different. And we created residences for seniors who needed assisted living type services, but they were more home-like. They weren't a nursing home. They weren't a facility. They were almost like a neighborhood of connected homes, which is what evolutionized to Great Life Communities. And I worked in that area for over 20 years, 25 years. And my partner decided to retire. So we had sold that business in 2017. And I started working on Great Life Communities, which was my next evolution. And Great Life Communities is based on the idea that most seniors are not excited about moving into a senior community. They're not excited. And my whole premise of the idea was, how do we make it compelling for seniors to actually be excited about moving, because most have lived in their home for 30, 40, 50 years. And the idea of moving isn't very exciting.
Yeah.
It's not visually appealing. I worked in long-term care pharmacy for 13 years. So I visited a lot of facilities all throughout the state of Wisconsin. And there's not that I'm excited to go here place in many areas. It's like, oh, you have an assisted living where it's just a giant building and they have a community room. Or you have the other long-term care facilities where, you may have some more dementia type patients where they need more full-time care, can't quite live on their own, but none of them are visually appealing to someone that has been proud of the home that they've owned for 50 years. And now they maybe have to go to it for some other reason, or their spouse passes or whatever. So I think the idea of this is amazing.
Sure. So The Woods, which is the flagship Great Life community, was created with the idea of creating a connection of ranch homes. Many of our parents, grandparents, the ranch home was very popular, and giving people the opportunity to have access to the outdoors. The one thing that happened during COVID, we originally had a vertical big box building like most communities have. It is more reasonable to build vertical than it is build ranch. But what we realized, and what I realized during COVID, was that most people were fearing getting locked out from their families. It happened over and over and over. Even in my own family, my grandfather was on the 3rd floor, stranded in a senior community in Sheboygan. And So it hit me that, oh my God, we need to create the ability for the residents to be in charge of their surroundings. And what we did is the Woods is basically a whole community of connected ranch homes in a neighborhood type setting. So we're essentially a neighborhood within a neighborhood,
It's
which is
so
very
cool.
different.
That is so cool.
And everybody's got their own little patio and
Their own front door.
Their own front door. It's like their own little apartment, like their own little hotel room.
Yep. And what's interesting and fun is that we created a community where you can have privacy of your own home if you want it. But if you want to be around community and people, which socialization is extremely important for living healthier and happier, you can go out your back door and there, because of our weather, but you have indoor access to amenities in the middle of the community of the Woods, where you mentioned the bar, which is a very popular amenity and
Oh,
will
I'm
be
sure.
I mean,
fitness center.
I look forward to going there. Like, let me retire and move in.
Well, and that's just the thing. Like, there's oftentimes a community room where sometimes they'll do bingo or, play board games or whatever. But having some of the home amenities, like, doing something in your backyard. I don't know if you do like grill out days or whatever you might do, but having that social aspect of sitting maybe at a bar stool might be something that's really comforting to somebody, or being able to play some table tennis or something just a little bit different than the average one community room. That's where you eat. That's where you play your games. That's where you do all your things.
Right. Yeah.
One thing we try to do different is we're very resident focused. So we want residents, not us, to decide what activities and social things they desire. We'll have monthly resident meetings. Food's very important. Our chef will have monthly resident meetings with the residents, asking them, what are the things that you enjoy that you haven't had from the past that you would like to enjoy now? The social activities, physical exercise, social exercise, spiritual exercise, and mental exercise. Those are all keys to aging well. So instead of us as administrators and the team telling residents what they would like, we actually have meetings and we ask them, what things would you enjoy? Many times people lose track. They stop doing the things that they used to do because they weren't able. Our goal is to help residents and people stay independent. And it has been proven that if you are in a positive environment, that you can actually be healthier and happier. And that's really the whole gist of the Woods, is creating a home-like environment where people can maintain their independence. We do offer assisted living services, but let's face it, none of us want to get assisted living services.
Right.
So we try to flip the switch on that and say, our whole goal is to help people stay independent, help residents stay independent. And we are creating a model where you can have more independence living in a community, a neighborhood of connected homes, than you are able to living at home. At some point, you'll realize that with some support, we can help you stay independent. So we call it living assistance services versus assisted living services. And this is really kind of flipping the switch on the typical model, which is our whole goal here is to be somewhat disruptive and offer something different than everyone else.
I think that's cool. I'm going to assume you're probably going to continue to be pretty full with that model.
And you're planning on building more locations, right?
To my wife's dismay, but we're one step at a time. So we're just, full disclosure, tomorrow is our open house. So we're just opening tomorrow.
Very cool.
We have had a few residents that had to move sooner.
Yeah.
But we will be open tomorrow. Our open house actually is from 2 to 5 tomorrow.
With a ribbon cutting.
With a ribbon cutting.
That I'll be at.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. And we will officially be open. So we're just kind of getting the word out. What's hard, we are a family business. We're local. I live local. Our team all lives local. We just appreciate the opportunity to do something different and make senior living more exciting, not so boring. So our community is more modern, more upbeat. We picked an architectural firm, Rinka Architects, who are very involved in changing the landscape of Milwaukee. We want to make living fun, and it can be fun and exciting even in a senior community or a neighborhood as we created.
The architecture is great.
Yeah,
All
I
this
can't wait to see it.
black Oh, it's just beautiful.
I can't wait to see it. So you really created your own path with this. It sounds like. What do you want to share with our audience about creating their own path or creating your own
Well,
path?
I know that you talked earlier about decision making, and what I realized, you know, some decisions work out, some don't, and I take a pie chart and I actually literally make a pie chart and I put all the positives and all the negatives, and obviously you could have a 50-50 chance, but if there are more positives than negatives, usually you go with it. The one thing that I learned over the years is if you try something and it doesn't work, it's okay. You learn and then you move on and you try something different. Many times I see entrepreneurs continuing on that same path, and if it's not working, they don't try something else. They keep doing it and they keep doing it. So my recommendation is, you know what, if you try something and it doesn't work out, it's okay. Learn from it and then try something different. And decisions are hard, but having that pie chart listing out your positives and your negatives, you have a 50-50 chance of making a good decision. But if there's one more positive than a negative, usually I say, let's move forward on that decision.
Sometimes just physically putting something down on paper really helps you to make that decision too. Like you really visualize, this is really more important to me than this, whether it be positive or negative, whatever it is, but actually physically seeing it written down, I think is really important and really helpful.
You bet.
So one more quick question before we wrap up. Do you see a lot of other assisted living centers offering this same kind of thing? Or do you think you're like really on the edge of creating a new dynamic?
Well, the reality is most people don't want to move. They want to stay in their own home. So what we created is the most home-like living experience possible. And I do think this is a new evolution of having all design where it's basically connected homes. It's not a vertical big box building. There is the next evolution. The next evolution of Great Life Communities will continue to be even more home-like environments, because the reality is that most of us, the idea of moving, even for us, is like, oh, why would I want to live around all these people? But if we can create another evolution, and the woods is this first evolution of connected ranch homes and creating a neighborhood, we can create even better neighborhoods. So my goal is to continue to create amazing neighborhoods of seniors, mature individuals who want to have the ability to have convenience with amenities, but also have the privacy of your own home, and really have it a place where you can live healthy and live happy.
Nice. I'm looking forward to getting older now.
I'm not. I'm just being honest. Sounds great, but no.
So besides your event coming up tomorrow, do you have any other special offers or anything that you want to share with our audience? Tomorrow's a big day. So
Tomorrow's a big day.
Yeah.
We are expecting a full crowd. But what we are offering is if somebody would call or email us and would like to come for a tour, we're offering a free meal ticket. We have an amazing chef. We realize food's very important, and we say, hey, come on in and try it out. So we're offering this meal opportunity where you can actually get a card and you can come for a meal and actually see what it's like, actually try the food, and just experience that something different. Than just, going to a restaurant. You can actually try our built-in restaurant.
wow, nice.
That's pretty cool. Where are the woods?
The Woods is at 118th and Edgerton Avenue in Greenfield, Wisconsin.
Beautiful.
We butt up to the Whitnell Nature Pod and the Whitnell Middle School, but we do enter off Edgerton. What's odd is that we actually are a neighborhood within a neighborhood. So there are single family homes nearby, but we're very connected and want to be connected with our neighborhood, which again, many times people moving feel they get disconnected.
Yeah, right. Well, it was great to have you on the show today. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you being able to come on, especially because we know you are so busy with
Right.
grand opening tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we do have a page on the website with your name, with theconnectshow.com/Greg Petrowski, where you can find out more information about him. And
Thank
contact
you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure and really cool to get to hear of this brand new experience. So I love it.
Thank you.
You building your confidence today after today, Tracy?
I'm feeling pretty confident.
I'm
I'm
feeling
feeling
like-
a little goal setting coming on.
I think so. I think we should work on actions, right? what actions to make those goals.
And we want to thank our volunteers so much for helping out behind the scenes, sending out the newsletters, all the things, social media, website stuff. And join us next week for our next show, which has Esther Reyes and Rachel Kitson with our guest host, Charlene Osterling. Pretty
How
exciting.
crazy is have I ever done a show without you? Maybe once.
No,
Maybe once.
Yeah.
That's
You're going
gonna
to
be
experience a whole new thing next week.
It's going to be crazy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our show today. Help our community grow by reaching out, inviting a person who you feel might benefit from being a part of this journey. Like, subscribe, share all of the fun things you do on social. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn every week at 10 a.m. Join us next week. We'll see you then.
Bye, guys.